Okay, now we are going to solve systems graphically. So remember, we're still looking to see where these equations cross, but we are using our graphing calculator, okay? So we're going to go to y1. We're going to do our absolute values. Just a reminder, second 0 is your catalog, and then you're going to select ABS to put your absolute value bars in. Okay, and then enter your equations. So I always start off with a normal window, which is just zoom 6. Okay, and when I graph it in that window, I actually can see the whole graph. So the way I can tell if I can see the whole graph is if I can see all of the intersection points and all of the max and mins. So looking at an absolute value, I know it's a V, and I know that this is a line. So as long as I can see that line and that V, then we are good to go. This says label the scale on the graph. So because this is a 10 by 10 window, I would do 10. Okay, and then we notice that to find where they cross, we do second trace number 5, and then we move the cursor close to the intersection point, and then we hit enter 3 times. And we're going to repeat that as many intersections as there are. So looking at the calculator in that window, I can see that there are 2 intersection points. And the first one is at 0.6 for the x value and negative 5.2 for the y. So if I go down 5.2 and right here, I'm going to have an intersection point right here. And then we do it again, second trace 5, move our cursor to the other spot where they cross. And this time I get 2.143 and negative 5.714. Okay, so I've got those 2 points are where they intersect. And if I look at that, if I go to 2 and negative 5.7 is about right there. Okay, so we know that both lines are going to cross right here. So the straight line looks like this. And then the absolute value graph goes like this. And then it crosses, it looks like 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it doesn't have to be exact, but we're just getting it close. Okay, to show those 2 points of intersection. Oh, I just did the approaching proficient and the proficient all in one. So this part of it is actually down here where you find the exact points, okay? So to get the points for approaching proficient, all you have to do is get that window right, and then you might have to change your window. So remember, these are the x mins and the x max, and then the y min and the y max. So if you couldn't see the bottom of this V, you would have to move your graph down a little bit so that you could see it. Okay, so in highly proficient, I'm going to graph this equation, so negative x cubed minus 30x squared minus 281x minus 840. And then I'm going to go down here and do the square root of negative 0.3x and go out of the square root minus 1.82. Now I'm going to notice here I've got an 840, and if I plug a 0 in for x, I would get negative 840. So for my window, I'm probably going to have to change my window to get down to that 840 mark, okay? And then we know the square root is kind of an one arc. So I can see that in the graph, but I'm definitely not seeing the full x cubed graph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my y min at negative 1,000 just to see what's happening. Okay. And that's actually not really going to impact the graph that much, so we don't really need to do that. I'm going to go back to zoom 6 so I can see the original graph. And what I'm seeing in my standard window is this, okay? And what I know from this negative is that this is a John Travolta graph, is what we call it. it's going to start up for the end behavior and go down. Okay, so if I'm seeing this, I know that somewhere this graph's going to come back up. So I need to move my window this way. So I'm looking at my X-min that I need to change. Okay, so I'm going to go to my X-min. I'm going to put a number in. I usually start with -25 and see how that does. Okay, so I've got -25 in. I can see the line, but I can't see the bottom dip, so I need to go lower. That's the Y-min. Let's try -50, see how low we need to go. We've almost got it. It's kind of hard because I don't have the graphing calculator up, so you're not seeing me changing my window, but I will put it on there at the end so that you know what I went to. Okay. All right, so looking at my graph like this, my X-min is -25, my X-max is 10. I could shorten this -25 up just a little bit because it was a little bit too big, but it still will work, okay? Those are the numbers that I got. And so now what I'm seeing is this graph comes down and it dips down and then it comes back and goes back down like this, okay? Well, and then we have our square root graph that's going to come across. It's really close to the axis, so kind of like this, okay? And it's crossing 1, 2, and 3 places. So to find these intersection points, I'm going to have to do second trace number 5, move close to that farthest left, intersect, enter, enter, enter. Okay, and my answer is going to be -15.005, and the y value is 0.302. Okay, and then I do it again, second trace 5. This time I'm going to stay on the bottom side of that so that I can get not move over to the third intersection point. So I'm just staying really close to this second intersection point. Okay, and then the third one, second trace 5. For this one, I'm going to just move my cursor right past it. And we get, those are our answers, okay? So when you do it this way, you just have to know what the graph, the end behavior is going to look like, and then kind of judge what part of the graph you're seeing off of that.